Today we're going to talk about the challenging topic of spirituality and witchcraft and modern medicine. Coming up right after this. Hi, welcome back. To those of you who are new, my name is Mel. I'm the owner, creator, and operator of Mel's Divination. And for those of you that know me, I am somebody who talks about spiritual things, witch things, and I don't shy away from sometimes the more challenging topics. Today's going to be a little bit on the heavy side. I don't want people to feel like they have to watch this one. Again, last video was done on Mother's Day, and that one was supportive but also heavy. So we are going to start with a little bit of a warning, a little bit of a trigger here, and just because I feel like it's necessary to share this information. Next week, it will be much lighter, but this week, I felt like we really needed to talk about this. So first of all, let me just say, I am not a medical professional. I am not a mental health care professional. And if you need help of any kind, please seek out the proper assistance, okay? Call doctors, call social workers, call mental health providers. Never use magic or spirituality like anything instead of talking to a doctor, and never follow some kind of social media influencer just for that, okay? So I did want to just start with that kind of as a warning. Also, if you are in a space where you are easily triggered for any kind of discussion about medical or mental health, now's the time to leave this video, because we are going to be talking about this. Also, I am not here to have a political standing. This is not about politics whatsoever. So if you are going to comment stuff about politics, the comments will be deleted. You will be blocked. It's not about grandstanding for politics, okay? This is about bringing in truth. It is about sharing my experience as a witch, as a spiritual practitioner, and kind of just like opening a different point of view to everybody so that you can all have a little bit more information of what I have personally seen so that you are more informed, okay? So I do encourage you to close this video and watch others. If you are easily triggered, if you are looking for a political outlet, this is not the place. All right, for those of you that don't know me, I do have some notes below, so you will see me glancing down just so that you are aware. And because this is such a big topic, I got a little overwhelmed when I sat down to make my notes about this. There is so much information. There is so much I want to discuss, and this is a video I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. I was inspired by multiple sources about this. I will link some of them down below. I will link some of them above. One of them was a podcast a long time ago by the Feminist, which she was talking about mental health and witchcraft. So that was one of them that I will link below because I can't really link it above. Another was just the other day by the Hearth Witch that I was watching. And that I was watching, she was watching a video about Satanism, Salem and Satanism. And for those of you who don't know me, I live about an hour away from Salem, Massachusetts, and I have been there and I do go back there, and I actually relate the most to a religion. Not that I prescribe to Satanism, but I relate the most to Satanism as a religion than I do any other religion. So I will be doing a video at some point about Satanism. But I was watching her do a reaction video while she was watching the Satanism video, and they were interviewing witches, and they were talking about how witches can sometimes harm others because they encourage people who, for instance, may have cancer, and they give them a crystal to heal their cancer instead of going to a medical professional, and how this can cause harm to others. So it inspired me, especially with what's going on in the world with the culture and everything that's happening right now. I really felt it was time to sit down and do this video. Now, with all of that said, and I will link the Hearth Witch video above that I watched about Satanism and the Salem witches. With all of that said, because this is such a large topic, this will probably end up being the first video in a series. I'm not entirely sure yet, but don't be surprised if you see more than one video about modern medicine and spirituality, witchcraft. I'm grouping it together. So we're just going to say spirituality, but it's spirituality and witchcraft, okay? Okay, time to take a quick breath and read my notes. Modern medicine, let me just define what I mean by modern medicine. What I mean by modern medicine is things like primary care doctors, medical doctors, specialists, mental health. So it's huge. It's a huge array of anything, right? I'm not talking about specifically holistic practitioners. So I'm not talking about herbalists. I'm not talking about Reiki practitioners. Those are a little bit more on the spiritual side or the holistic side of things. So I'm not going to be talking about that. I'm talking about more like you have to go to school to get a medical degree or a doctorate degree, okay? So that's what I'm speaking about here today. This video is going to be a little bit long. I do apologize, but I am trying to get as much information out that I have around this as well. And I am not the end of everything. That's the other thing I did want to say as a little bit of a warning. I have said this in multiple videos to you guys, but I do want to say it again, especially because of this topic. I am not your only source of information. I encourage you to look at other videos from other YouTubers. I encourage you to go out and read books. I encourage you to talk to other witches, other spiritual practitioners. I encourage you to talk to doctors, to other medical practitioners. Do your research. There's a big trend right now about medical stuff coming from TikTok. That is a thing that really frustrates me. Now, what I have not ever disclosed is I was raised in a home by a medical professional. So I am very much this child of both sides. I am the witchcraft spiritual child, but I also have a lot of common sense when it comes to medical. I have been taught how to take care of myself. I have been taught how to use common sense when it comes to doctors. I've been taught how to find the right doctors. And a lot of people blindly trust doctors. That's another thing someday. I'm going to vaguely touch upon that today. It is okay to get a second opinion. It is good to get a second opinion if something feels off, but it's also important to take care of your physical health, okay? Now, with all of that being said, I said that I was not here for political grandstanding, and I'm not, but I do want to say there is a big unrest about the whole vaccination thing right now out there, and I'm not here to spread any information about that or to teach you about vaccinations today. I personally have been vaccinated. I had no major side effects. Everybody I know has had no major side effects, and if you are curious about that, I just wanted to share my story about that. I have been fine. So to each their own. The wonderful thing is, in this country of the United States that I live in, we have our own personal choices. So I'm not judging here. This is a no judgment zone. If you choose not to, I have family and friends who have chosen not to, and no judgment there. But it is nice to have the peace of mind that I am vaccinated now and I don't need to be fearful, because I was fearful that I would get the virus. Because if I ended up hospitalized, I have preconditions, and if I was hospitalized, I would lose a lot, financially speaking. So it's just for my own peace of mind, and I have members of my family who were at very high risk if I ever exposed them. So that's enough on the vaccine, but just wanted to share that super quickly. Do your research. That's all. Do your research. Do your research about medical stuff. Do your research about things, and don't believe everything. Don't believe everything I'm saying. Don't believe everything that somebody on TikTok is saying. Don't believe what you see on social media. Do real research. There's a lot of propaganda out there. My main points here that I wanted to share today was, it is good and okay to supplement spiritual practices with modern medication, modern medical needs. Meaning, and this is where I believe, what I have personally experienced in my belief and what I'm sharing with you guys, okay? So I go to a regular doctor. I have had a lot of trouble finding a good regular doctor. And this is what I mean by questioning everything, because I have had minor issues, very minor issues, but I have to go to a regular doctor. I have major migraines, and spirituality and witchcraft does not work on migraines. Sometimes herbalist stuff works, sometimes like essential oils, sometimes a little spell here and there helps. But I've had major migraines since I was 19. Reiki doesn't work. Holistic practitioners do not work. I get debilitated by blinding nausea migraines. Dieting doesn't work. It's been something that I've dealt with my whole life. I have to go to a neurologist. I'm on medication for it. And sometimes you'll hear me be like, because I'm on medication, that makes me have a little bit of brain fog. It's an unfortunate side effect, but it is the reality of having a migraine, having to function with migraines. Now, I still do spiritual practices to try to encourage me to have health, good health, and abundance, and not have these migraines. I do that. And I go and have Reiki done, and I balance my chakras, but I still get my migraines. So it is very important to make sure that you are balancing medical with spiritual. If you are somebody that has a heart condition, if you are somebody that has diabetes, if you have had cancer, if you have life-threatening conditions that you need medication, you need to go to a doctor. You need to have your body monitored. You need to be checking things. It's very important to listen to your body. It's very important to take care of your body. It's very important to do more than just spiritual work. Prayer is great, spiritual work is great, but medication is also important for specific things. It needs to be monitored by an MD. Not all MDs are good. Not all. I've gone through a lot trying to find one that listens, because I've had issues, like I said, with migraines and other things that the doctors are like, oh, you're fine. No, I'm not. I know my body. I have intuition. I work with my guides, and I'm not fine, and you're not listening to me. So I've had to go to several doctors before I can find a good one. So this is what I mean by getting suggestions. See, I can't think of the word. Recommendations, second opinions. So, and I'm not going to edit that out so you guys can actually see what happened because of my medication. Use your intuition, ask questions, and make sure you have a doctor that listens to you, okay? So that's important as well. So mental health is just as important as physical health. Sorry, I just had a coughing fit. I don't know where you guys are. I don't know if you can see my face is watery right now. I meant to mention this at the beginning of the video. I am being plagued by allergies. I'm very sensitive to the pollen, and it has been like throat and eyes and nose, and it's awful. So wherever you guys live, if you're not sensitive to pollen, you are so lucky. Mental health is just as important as physical health. A lot of times, and I'll link the toxic positivity above, but there's people that are just like, oh, just change your mindset. It limits your feelings. It limits your needs, and it makes you feel less than. You can be spiritual and be depressed. You can be spiritual and a witch and have anxiety. You can suffer from mental illness. You can have bipolar, schizophrenia, reactive attachment disorder. You can have borderline personality disorder. I have people in my life that have these things that need medication and that are witches. There is nothing wrong with needing medication. And I have talked to people that have made them feel less than. That's why I'm going to link the Fat Feminist Witch below, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to find the exact podcast because she's done so many and I listened to it a long time ago, but she suffers from mental illness. She suffers from depression. And that was what she was talking about, how people have made her feel like she is less than because she's on depression medication. And that was one of the things that inspired me. Oh, you're a witch. Why are you on depression medication? You shouldn't need that. Some people really need it. Like, it's a chemical imbalance in their brains and they just can't function without it. Some people have bipolar and they can't function. That's how it keeps them stable. So no, it doesn't make you less than. It doesn't make you less spiritual, less than a witch, less than anybody else. It means you have this need biologically that needs to be taken care of so you can function as a human being. Don't listen to those kinds of people, because if you're struggling and your body feels off and things don't feel right, you need to get yourself that help. I've been on depression medication. It happens. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Just like I have to take migraine medication. If I don't, I will be sick constantly. So be gentle with yourself. Don't listen to people that are attacking like that because they have pristine health and they're fine. They haven't suffered with illnesses like that. They don't get it. And that's their journey. But your journey is your journey, and you need to be gentle with yourself and do what works for you, okay? Do not think that it means you are less than. Do not think it means you're not as spiritual or you're not going to be able to connect to the divine. In fact, it may help you connect more because now your brain is more focused, okay? I hope that helps you guys feel a little bit better if you've had any questions about that. It's really important that you take care of yourself. That is self-care. Physical health and mental health. It is self-care. That is loving yourself. That is putting in boundaries of what you need for yourself. Again, don't blindly trust doctors. Do your research. And again, on medications, I am super sensitive to medications. I gain weight like crazy. I have crazy side effects. I passed out from a medication that I should have never passed out from because my blood pressure dropped for a migraine. So you need to make sure that you ask when a doctor puts you on a medication, what are the side effects? What do I need to watch for? Advocate for yourself. I'm not advocating for medication. Let me be clear. I'm only on 2 medications so that I can function with my migraines. But I do want you to be able to feel like you can function as a witch, as a person, as a human being, if you're suffering with something, okay? And if a medication isn't working right, or if you're having horrible side effects because of something, go back to your doctor, tell them what your issue is, and be like, this isn't working, can we try something else? And this is why. Be factual, okay? So I hope that's helpful. I was raised by a registered nurse. She worked in the field for 40 plus years, and that's why I've learned how to advocate for myself. Oh, one more thing. I know we're getting long here. I'm a little long-winded about this because I'm passionate about it. I also was, for those of you who don't know, a severe and profound special ed teacher. So I worked with students on the autism spectrum, students who had cerebral palsy, students who had disabilities that you've never even heard of, that are hard to pronounce, who are on all kinds of medications. I've had multiple seizure students, epilepsy students, and I've had to work with registered nurses in my classroom and work with kids who had tons of medications. So I've seen it. And what's necessary if a kid misses a med, if a kid's off on their meds, if a kid, how they function. So it's very clear when somebody's not doing well. It can be very clear. So again, I've also seen the flip side where people are extremely over-medicated, and that's not okay either. So I'm not advocating for over-medication. I am advocating for take care of yourself. Listen to your body. If you're feeling like you're not right, you need to talk to a doctor, period. Now, with all of that said, other spiritual pieces, it's not fully spiritual though, it's more holistic. Reiki is wonderful. Herbalism, essential oils, that stuff is also wonderful. Acupuncture, I know I'm not pronouncing it right. I have not had much experience with that, but I've heard it's wonderful. There's not a lot of places around me that offer that, so I have not had that experience. Himalayan salt caves, float places, those are great. Now, when it comes to herbalism is like a science, and it's kind of what witchcraft was way back in the way back in like the 1600s, way back in the day. That's how they would make like nettle tea and all sorts of stuff. Make sure if you're taking herbal supplements, which I personally do, and I'm not going to recommend anything on here because again, I am not a medical professional and I'm not an herbalist. I will use peppermint essential oil on my forehead when I get migraines, but it's diluted. But make sure if you're using essential oils or herbs of any kind, like I have my jars of herbs over here, and you're drinking tea or you're taking supplements, pills, that if you have medication that you're taking, like prescribed medication, your doctor knows what kind of supplements you're taking. Do your research on that as well, because not only can prescription medications interact with each other, make sure when it comes to blending any kind of herbal supplements with each other and with prescription medication that you do your research. Consult an herbalist, consult a pharmacist, consult a doctor. Make sure you know what you're doing, because it can be very dangerous. Oh, they're just herbs. No, they're not just herbs. They're not just herbs. They're herbs that have medicinal qualities in them. Where do you think medicine came from in the first place? So it can be quite dangerous if you're not smart about it. Also, you can have quite a bit of side effects even if you're not on any prescription medications. Like, for instance, echinacea is wonderful for the immune system. I drink echinacea tea. And if I'm getting sick, I'll take an echinacea supplement. But if you take too much echinacea, it can cause digestive upset. Like a lot of digestive upset. Doesn't bother me too much, but I know people who have had a lot of problems with it. So you need to be careful. You need to be careful. And essential oils, most of them can't go on your body directly, and you have to dilute them. So that's another thing. So make sure, and another thing about essential oils, if you're diffusing them, it's dangerous for your pets to inhale them. Many of them are toxic, and it made my cat sick. I used to diffuse them all the time, and I got rid of all you'll never see me having diffusers. Like that's a humidifier. That's not a diffuser. Because my cat, used to vomit all the time when I would diffuse essential oils, and it turned out it's because the ones I was diffusing is actually bad for their lungs. So you need to be careful about herbal stuff, okay? I think that's everything. Yeah, that was a lot. I know, guys. I'm sorry. I am not an herbalist. I am not a Reiki master. I am just here to share some information with you. So again, if you feel off, get help. Go to the doctor. Write down your symptoms. Get some support from a professional. And it is perfectly fine to supplement spell work and crystals and spiritual practices with the modern medicine, with the mental health, with the physical health. But make sure you get seen by a real doctor too, because something else might be going on inside your body. You could have low iron, you could have low vitamin D, you could have a thyroid issue, you could have a whole list of stuff that needs to get tested. And it's not going to get fixed with crystals and spells. I hope that helps you guys. Please comment down below if you have questions. Again, no political grandstanding here. So if you are writing political comments, I'm deleting them. They're not staying. And take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves. That is number one. The more you take care of yourself, the more abundance will come in, the more prosperity will come in, the better you will feel, the better your vibration will be in general. Avoid toxic positivity. Be gentle with yourself, okay? And I think that's it. So, like, comment, subscribe, share. Ask questions. I will answer whatever I can. If I don't know the answer, I will let you know I don't know, because sometimes you guys ask questions and I'm like, I don't know the answer to that. I'll let you know if I don't know, because again, I'm not a medical professional. I'm just a person. I am just a person who was raised by a nurse who is a witch, and I feel like you guys needed to hear some of this. I hope this helps. Let me know if it helped you. Thank you again. Next week will be lighter. Bye.